is Trippy's map pick, and one I think we expect them to potentially have even more of an advantage over CYCLOPS. Trippy did defeat Cloud9 during the Raleigh qualifier for Korea, so don't want to count them out just yet. It is map 2, still a possibility. We'll head to all three.
Now, CYCLOPS banning out Thermite, this is definitely a surprise ban from them. It's not something you see too much of, especially here on Cafe. Well, they are on defense, by the way. Don't let the colors fool you. Blue is defending in this case. Trippy are going to follow that up with a Thatcher ban, so very, very smart, and I think it's somewhat necessary, but, you know, they are the ones attacking first, so that Thatcher ban is going to make breaching that wall over there on the cocktail lounge is going to make it a lot harder, so they're going to need to bring a Maverick.
Yeah, so the thing about Thatcher as well that we don't have a lot of other operators that can really do is information denial from the defenders, Mute and Mozzie. It can be very difficult on Cafe without a Thatcher to clear out that utility, get your drones inside and start to establish dominance. And on a map like Cafe, especially that top floor where it's really difficult to establish that beachhead, for free, the only thing you get first is red stairs. Then you have to try and get piano, you have to try and get underneath New Hatch, you have to try and get cocktail, pardon me, you have to try and get cigar. And each of these things, each of these next steps, you need information. Without the Thatcher, it's going to be much more difficult to get that information.
Yeah, that's right. I meant cigar wall, not cocktail, by the way. Sorry about that. But once again, just a little bit more on the Thatcher ban. They have banned Thatcher a lot this season. I think 4 times. And twice it was on Cafe. So they definitely know what they're doing, I think.
And I guess the more that you ban a specific operator on a specific map, the easier it becomes for your opponents to start to predict these operator bans. Of course, that Thermite ban is something we don't see quite so often. It means that we'll need to be relying on Hibana if any hard breach is to be seeked, or potentially the Maverick you mentioned earlier. Maverick more so for opening up holes and exposing land of sight rather than actually entrances. But of course, on the attacking side, we don't have any hard breaches brought at all, but we do have 2 sets of smoke grenades, potentially, depending on whether the Dokkaebi brought smoke grenades or frag grenades. And that means that there's a possibility here for Trippy to be going for more of a heavy smoke-based plant where they deny as much information from CYCLOPS as possible and force that diffuser down.
Definitely going to be a treat to watch this round, I would say, because as you said, no hard breaches coming out from them. Looks like they don't even care about pushing in through the west side. Might just be a push up. I need to spawn peaks and gets it. JD off the floor, and IQ being taken down. That is pretty big because you can't see which drone is yours and which isn't after this. The evil eyes, they're going to be hard to spot as well. I'm not too sure how much information CAG has to have seen at least 4 or 5 of those picks from Trippy, and they'll have realized, well, no hard breaches, so they will still be expecting one, probably the Maverick, but it's going to make their life a lot easier when they realize there's none.
One of the things that's really difficult without an IQ to locate is Mozzie drones. No way! Surely Templar can't find an angle here.
But he can't land the shots just yet, he's just waiting for him to move.
Maybe if he goes a bit high, he might actually... That's the angle! Oh, no! But now the Maestro knows that position, he hears those shots coming from Templar. Very, very careful there for the Maestro. And of course, with that early spawn peak, things are off to a good start for CYCLOPS. We mentioned information denial earlier. The Mozzie is present. He's already snagged at least 1 drone. So it will be difficult for Trippy to get that information needed. Of course, they do have the Jackal, which does help with the information gathering, mainly on these roamers, clear out the bottom floor. Dokkaebi can also help with executing onto those roamers as well, and forcing the Maestro off his camera if we're going for a plant.
So this is what I talked about, CAG earlier on. They love this deep roam, and they only send 1 guy. Always just 1. So the possibility of a refrag is very, very low. But at the same time, the reason it is successful because you see this 1 guy all alone, so far away, and no, that's a free kill for Anitun, and he just jumps out, and he's gonna get a second! Oh, incredible stuff! The diffuser is dropped as well, and I'm not sure if Anitun has realized it, but he can hold station together with Gatorada right now. It seems like they have information over on that jump out. Because if they didn't, what Anitun was doing was insane. And oh, Sheo, he's gonna get 1. He can't quite connect onto Gatorada. Showcase, though, he's gone down on site. Templar takes him out. So right now they are aggressing onto the bomb site, but CAG should be happy to just let it go.
No! Trippy, you gotta look behind you, Templar man. Come on, Suzu gets that freebie. Unfortunate there. Templar completely unaware of that position. Now it's all on Shale. There's a great weapon to utilize, but okay, there's a freebie. for taking down Gatorada. Just 2 left for Cyclops. Plenty of time for Shell to work with, though. He'll go grab that diffuser, but by the time he walks all the way back up again, he's going to be struggling for time. He'll have to really just sprint up white stairs, likely walk into some barbed wire. Let's see as he moves up. Those gas canisters will make his presence a bit more difficult to get up there. Black Ray watching this angle as well. Surely he can't find this. Really late to be going for the scan there. Can he find the kill on the Cade? No. Cade ducks away just in time. And the smoke as well inside of Freezer, holding this close angle, and that's an easy kill for Suzu. Great round closed out at the end by Cyclops.
That was a very, very good recovery from CAG. It looked like, you know, Trippy were going to bring it back somehow. But Anitun, he's just going crazy, and for good reason, he was named the best player in Japan this season online. And exactly, he showed us why. He got that spawn peek off, then goes out, he jumps out, he gets 2 more, goes unpunished for a long while until it comes up white stairs. He tried the recovery, couldn't quite work out, so not too bad from them overall for Trippy, but you know, you gotta stop and expect these jump out. That is a very, very common jump out. You gotta put a claymore there.
So now for Trippy, they will pick away from the IQ onto the Nomad, try to prevent more of that aggression, cut off some rotations. Of course, now that that top floor bar bomb site has been locked, as the defenders previously won it, it really changes the landscape because that top floor defense is so different to a lot of the rest of the map here on Cafe. Because let's say this objective right here, the kitchen bomb site, it's so pivotal. This bottom floor, areas like garage, areas like bakery, make such a difference, and they're areas of the map where you really have a lot of contention, but also top floor as well, all the different floors of the map, as roaming is very effective on this site. Whereas that top floor, you really only see action on the top floor, maybe the second floor, not so much downstairs. It's very rare that a roam will really be central to the defense. So now that that bomb site's changed, it's a different situation for Trippy, and potentially that'll help them to get back on their feet here on map 2.
So, finally getting to the action phase over here, as you said, Gatorada is bringing the Capcan again to this trap operator they're bringing, and this time Black Ray, he's punished for the spawn peak. Shale is going to be one taking him down, and Anitun is going to take the position over here behind Bakery. The counter over there is a very common spot for a Jaeger to play, or sometimes you even see a castle. We don't have a castle from CAG over here. Black Ray, the dock was the one going down. And this is what CAG loves to do, and Aero tried this earlier on, it wasn't successful. So what they do is they bring a dock, and they just play super, super aggressive. So when you go out, as long as you don't get headshotted, you can come back to the site, and the dock heals you up, and you go again, and again, and again.
But, of course, that is that caveat of those headshots, which will just delete that player. Black Ray falling so early from that aggression. But nonetheless, let's talk about the rest of this bomb site. Anitun playing very aggressively behind that cupcake stand here in Bakery. He's holding on with the 416. We've seen players like Virtue from Fnatic do so exceptionally well in positions like this. Caught in a pinch, but with a great weapon to make work. And of course, I love that position from the Maestro, something we very rarely see. Using a deployable shield for information, can look through those slits. Take the ACOG in those long engagements as well.
He's on flank watch. Suzu C, he's trying to come up, trying to go the flank. He's going to get droned out immediately, so Shail, he might want to contest this. Sorry, Watby, flashbang goes out. It is too deep as Suzu pushes up, and that's going to be a free kill. You can't back away from gunfights like that. That's a very, very poor decision from Watby, from an experienced young man, but jumps to Juan. Luckily, he is there to trade it out, but at the same time, Gatorada's got one.
2 players left on Cyclops. Shoki, though, evens it up. Good refrag again. Just 2 left for Cyclops. Trippy now, all waiting for the Jackal, and Cyclops. Gatorada on the roam to close that one out. 2 rounds straight on defense.
Definitely looking very good for CAG. They knew exactly how this push was going to come in. They countered it pretty well. Of course, Anitun starting things out. You know, well, this time it was a Shale starting things out, but Anitun is the one just putting the cap on everything. Almost every single round, he has a big, big impact.
So Cafe is a map where a lot of these rounds we expect to go defense, right? Being such a new map, we're still developing the meta. Of course, Cafe has been in the game for a really long time, but that rework's come out.
Especially in APAC.
Yeah, exactly. That rework came out. APAC wasn't so keen to touch Cafe right at the start. We waited, we saw what EU and some of the other regions did, then we started to iterate our own versions on some of these strategies and start to experiment. That top floor was taken quite a lot, really favored. That bottom floor, now we've got a lot of good strategies as we've seen, but now Living Room Library being taken as a third choice bomb site here. I think that this is, if there's anywhere where we're going to see Trippy get back into the game, it's here.
Now, Trippy have taken a tactical pause right now, and that's a surprise. It's not looked that dire, I would
It's
say.
early days.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the thing for me. Yes, you should really win a couple attacks at least, but I would have expected that you'd wait for a bit more of a dire situation before going for your tactical pause.
Yeah, well, unless, of course, the situation is that Trippy have practiced something, and we are seeing none of that come out. So Dongwook must be standing there, might be fuming in the background. I can't quite tell, but you know, he might be thinking like, well, we talked about this. We talked. This is what you have to do, and you guys not even looking to do that. Why are you guys ignoring my instructions or what have you not? And this happens sometimes at LAN. So I guess that's the only reason you would call attack pause this early.
Hard to predict, but what we can know for certain in the next few rounds is whether it will have a positive impact on Trippy's attacks here. Really, it is essential that Trippy rack up a few attacks, and really the best place to start is once CYCLOPS are forced onto their least favored bomb sites. Now we're going for Living Room and Library, the newest bomb site on this map, but in some ways it can be held very similarly to that top floor bar cocktail area. And we've seen CYCLOPS invest a lot of utility up there, which is indicative of that. Trippy will have to get the ground on that top floor, likely to push through Piano. They have brought a hard breach this time, which they did not bring in that previous time around. We'll see whether it can continue to work here.
ADS deployed and ready to go.
Now, of course, this is going to be a long throw from Templat on the drone, and the drone's coming out. They're going to clear out first floor right away, and it's early days, but Trippy usually doesn't do that on Cafe, what I've seen from them. As we said earlier on, this is completely different coming out from Trippy, and you know, perhaps these are the changes that Dongwook wanted to see, and he didn't see that in the first 2 rounds, so he called attack pause, and now finally he's just driven that into his players, like, alright, I told you guys, clear out floor by floor and get your droning in. And perhaps that's what they're doing, because right now, Anitun and Gatarada, they're just sitting pretty on the 3rd floor. No push. It's so communicative from the Koreans.
You can hear them. CHE, that's Black Ray holding this angle. Oh, and he reveals that position. It was Templat who was holding the angle for a long time. He's waiting for people to push him on that bottom floor. Anitun's keen for it, gets more aggressive, starts to head over towards these half stairs. Is he going to try to push aggressively and take this gunfight? He doesn't know exactly where the Zafira is hiding, but he could still get the drop on her. But no, I think the Zafira saw his position. He goes for the pre-fire and locks out that kill. Anitun's taken down, and he's good for a second. Surely no! The player gets away, but not without a bit of damage onto Black Ray. Good job from Templat to lock down, but there is still a reply from CYCLOPS with Suzu elsewhere still doing some good work. And there hasn't been a lot of map control taken for Trippy, but they're into the bomb site now. Shale getting aggressive. He does a lot of damage onto the Mozzie, and that smoke grenade as well will make this a bit more difficult for them, but they get that C4 kill regardless. Now we really need to see Trippy step up.
Jamsuhan, he gets a pistol kill onto Showcase, so it's just up to Black Ray and Suzu, and that is a poor choice. Templat is just so patient.
Oh no, come
and
on,
he's going to be able to deny this, and there we go. But it's too late! What were you waiting for, Suzu? He tried to wait the timer out, he just misplayed that, and the plant goes down. Now he has to retake in a 1v2. Not impossible for him, for sure. But he is a Kaid, and he's using the pistol, which is something you don't want in close range because he only has 3 bullets in his DMR. And JD will put the cap in things, and Trippy finally get around, and looks like the attack pause worked out well because the take that we saw from Trippy over here was a lot more polished.
Yeah, good on them to get back into the game here, but of course, CAG now can go back to their primary bomb site and that cocktail bar, that cocktail lounge. So that's really where we've got to see Trippy continue this momentum, because if they don't manage to successfully lock out attacks onto other bomb sites, I'll be a bit worried for them.
Now, let's see what happens over here on Bar and Cocktail. So we didn't see much of an organized take from Trippy the first time around. Hopefully we're gonna see this come out this time after the attack pause. Anitun got a very, very nice spawn peek, so they need to be careful. They need to really play this like ranked. So what do you have to do in ranked, when you come out? Just pre-fire both the Christmas windows, and just something you do unconsciously. It doesn't really net you a kill most of the time. Like, what, 20 times out of 21 it won't get you. But the one time, it could at least scare off a would-be spawn peeker or even just get a kill onto him.
You have to be vigilant watching for those spawn peaks. Make sure that you let the defenders know that you're wary of them by pre-firing those windows. You want to try to coax your enemy into being a little bit more passive. And CYCLOPS, well, typically they're anything but. Well, they'll go back to this top floor defense. And Trippy, they do have a hard breacher this time. Last time they attacked onto this bomb site, they did not bring one. We also saw them lose that IQ very early. Now, Anderson, he wants to play super aggressive. He's got the Jaeger down inside of Garage. Woppy about to run past. Oh, this is dangerous. He hears a lot of shots ring out. Oh, man. Trippy were repelling, but he just goes to the wallbang, gets Templat down.
Oh.
One of the best fraggers. At least there's a refrag there from Jamsukwan. Great job to reply there for Trippy, but still they've lost that Zofia player, and more importantly, one of their star fraggers.
Now, funny thing is, I'm going to bring out another stat fact for you. If CAG gets the opening kill and is not traded out, they win 77% of the time. But the moment it gets traded out, that win percentage plummets to 22. That is insane. The difference is crazy because it's a 4v4 still, but now the chances for Trippy winning this round is 78%. Trippy is the one in the driver's seat.
And now that really marks how important those refrags are, especially on those early kills. So really hats off to Jamsukwan to nail that one. And now, of course, Trippy will begin their assault onto this top floor. Wasting no time at all, really. Pushing in, got control of Piano now. Establishing that control and moving forward on from there. JD just ensuring there are no KE devices on that main wall. And Watby wants to open up this position here, angles into the freezer itself, but you can, of course, K-trick those devices and Electroclaw will go down, and that's likely to work effectively. At least one Zofia charge, sorry, one Hibana pellets, set of Hibana pellets was eliminated there.
I mean, I don't quite know what Trippy were expecting. They're the ones who banned Thatcher, and they tried to make Hibana work. As Shoke makes the altar work, Jamsukwan goes down, so 1 minute still left in the round, and this is going to be very, very tough. Taking from the west side with a Thatcher banned, it's nigh impossible. So the Twitch now finally gets rid of the electrical, and there are none more left for Black Rays. So finally that wall gets opened up. They're going to get an angle into Freezer. What can they do with this? Because Suzu last time around, he just sat here and he got a free kill. I think it was Templar who went down.
Suzu holding with smoke deep inside of the washrooms. Showcase, though, is doing some serious work with that Older, and you can see CAG getting more and more aggressive, potentially looking to push up through the white hallway as well. Shots ringing out, and Trippy just fall apart here as they attempt to collapse. A sigh of relief for CAG, and they're back in the game here. That 22% looks like it's not so relevant after all, Impian.
Yeah, I mean, well, somewhere the 22% has to come from somewhere. Maybe that is that
sure,
23%. But yeah, I mean, it is definitely a surprise. But I think a lot of it comes down to the fact that they had the Thatcher ban and they lost a lot of time getting that wall open. And then when they finally did, you know, Shoke, by the time he'd gotten 2 kills with the Alder. And let's not underestimate Shoke. He might not be the flashiest player. Anitun, Black Ray, Suzu may be up there, but look, he's on CAG. Right, and every one of them, as we talked about, you know, you have to talk about all 5 of them when you're talking about fragging firepower.
Yeah, no one on CAG is afraid of stepping up when it's needed, and now they'll go downstairs to this kitchen bomb site they previously had a victory upon, and we will see a castle being brought in. Black Ray as well on the vigil, not an operator we very commonly see, but castle is the main instrumental one I want to mention for this bomb site, as we very typically see utilization of the armor panels on some of the doorways to allow protection of that long hallway on the north side of the map. This really long east-west hallway, and you can see that rotation enabled near that double kitchen door behind that long bar on the near the VIP section. Also covering up coat check from that main front entrance. I really like this so far from CYCLOPS. It's quite a staple, but it can be effective, and Trippy will have to dispatch with these armor panels to cut off more rotations from CYCLOPS. Otherwise, the Japanese will be able to run amok.
Now this is where the jump out came the last time around from Anitun, and Blackray is very close by as well. So hopefully if Trippy is going to go on the rappel on the east side, they have a claymore, or they have someone watching. Usually it's very easy to deny the jump out. It's rare that it works, and it works so well, no less. So this top floor room, let's see what Trippy do with it. They were happy to, largely ignore it when they went for the reading room take. Maybe they'll do the same when they're attacking here onto the first floor, or maybe not, because Jumpsuit 1, he's looking to get punchy over here on Skylight. And
oh, there's the first kill.
Templat who else? Oh,
Templat gets very aggressive, pushing to the front side, and does dispatch with some of those castle barricades as well. So a very good start. Blackray, though, he wants to get aggressive on the back of it.
Well, this is a good start for Trippy right away. But CYCLOPS, as you said, too good at times. Not unduly worried yet. They're still having a 3-1 lead. What can he do? He has to get this wall opened up, and there's no Kaid, there is no Bandit. So not really a time pressure situation here for the wall. It just depends on when they want to get the angle in, and you can hear the X-Kairos going down. They're going to get it down and opened.
A lot of roaming pressure as well from CYCLOPS. They only have the 4 players remaining, and here, great utilization of a C4 to open up these vertical angles, but it doesn't destroy all of the floor, so we can't actually see all the way through it. Unfortunate there for Gatorada, and it's looking like Trippy may well start to execute. Blackray, though, does find that 1 kill. He may getting a second there. Does get the injure now. Templat, though, gets one down as well. What be denied the plants? And now 3 left for Trippy, falling apart. It's just 2. CYCLOPS have the numbers advantage. Blackray going crazy with that vigil. Only 1 player left, all up to Shale. What's he going to make happen?
Well, let's see, because this was looking so good for Trippy, but you heard that Maestro Evil Eye just going pew, 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 and one went down, the other was finished off, the planter Ward B as well, and now Shale, he's on an island right now. Blackray is taken low, so if he can try and finish him off, perhaps that would help out, but CYCLOPS playing this so smartly, they don't need to take these gunfights, and they... Oh,
ooh, nice.
Well, Blackray, somehow he gets very antsy being Jackal scanned. Not sure why. Shoke, now if he goes down, that's going to be a huge problem, but that same Evil Eye... Oh, can he see this? No! Oh no, we have a server crash!
Something's happening here. That's a bit unfortunate.
Oh, you know what? That instant flashback, you know what? That was 2? This was 2 CYCLOPS versus Aerowolf.
Well,
same thing, that was a Maestro Evil Eye.
Nope, none of that. So look, that was unfortunate. We'll get the admin call on that one, but let's be honest, guys. It did look like it was very much a CAG round through and through. I mean, let's talk about what we saw from start to finish in that round. CYCLOPS, they were taken with that first pick against them very, very early. So got to credit the Koreans for getting that early pick. However, I think that from that point, those roamers from CAG really put the pressure on Trippy, and they were unable to really make a difference as they started to execute into the bomb site. That was a real shame.
Yeah, and that was definitely a real shame, because we are going to be replaying the entire round. That is the call from the admins, and it's really unfortunate because, well, you could say, yeah, that
there's never a good call.
Yeah,
there are only less worse calls here. So
yeah, you said that, Trippy almost lost that, but look, the way he swung around, it looked like he had information on that Capcan player if Gatorada had gone down.
It looked like he was about to tap that Capcan.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, who knows? You can't... I don't think either team is going to be overly unhappy with that, but CYCLOPS will definitely be having a few more words than, than Trippy. But I think XQQ, he looks pretty happy. He's okay. And the players as well, just smiling.
Yeah, and just as a note, they actually can't talk to their coach during this time. We don't really talk about this very much, but I know a lot of people ask me questions like, so are they allowed to talk to their coach? When are they allowed to? When aren't they allowed to? So during the rounds, coach actually can't speak to the players. It's really up to the players. The coach has to stand there and facepalm every time they see their players doing something wrong. Facepalm in silence, mind you. It's only during a tactical pause that those coach mics actually get turned on and they can talk to the rest of their team. Even in a situation like this, they're not meant to be talking to their coaches, and they don't have that coach mic on in a situation where we have some kind of technical pause. That's not the case. So we can have a look at the coaches. You can see the cogs turning inside, but they only get to relay that information during those tactical pauses, of which we've already seen Trippy use this map.
Yeah, and perhaps that was why they used it. You know, probably face palming really, really hard was Donguk. So far, well, it's not too bad. You still have CAG. They're going to go in with a 3-1 lead.
That's a nice mouse pad there. I'm not sure which player that is, but
hello.
Shoke looking happy.
He's
Yeah,
okay.
don't you love to see it? That's important, right? You've got to keep up your spirits. We talk so much about some of these teams. Norengo is the main one that comes to mind. Always in jest, always having a good time. Animated, they've gotten so many fans because of it. I know there's going to be a lot of Kazoku fans out there as well, Racehill as well. So that's what is really so essential for these teams, especially in situations like this when maybe the chips are down or maybe something's a bit frustrating. Keep your heads up. Keep it about having fun. Have a good time, because that's really the secret to keeping that mental composure that's required to perform.
Yeah, now this is taking a fair bit of time, but that's okay. We have a lot to talk about, honestly, because let's just talk about the whole dynamic of Cafe so far, really. We saw CAG come out so strong, then attack pause came out from Trippy, and suddenly after that, they looked a lot better overall. But I still keep going back to the Thatcher ban. As attackers, that's not something you would really want to do. I know Airwolf does it, but they usually start off on defense and try build an advantage.
That's a real argument there, though. Like I know a lot of people who say that don't ban X operator that gives the defense a big advantage when you start on attack. I've been always a strong advocate for saying that if you can keep your mental composure, really, it shouldn't matter whether you start on attack or on defense. It's all about keeping your heads high, and then when you get to that second side, that's really what makes the difference there. In fact, sometimes, I don't know, it's up for debate.
Yeah.
That's a long one. I'll let other people discuss that. I don't want to weigh on that too much. One thing I do want to mention, though, you're talking about like that Thatcher ban, the Thermite ban as well. So both of these teams banned those super essential operators. And the dynamic of that, when we're talking about an operator like Cade, you can't destroy the Cade devices that are on the wall unless you have something like a Twitch. And also, once you do destroy it, a Thermite charge placed on the wall can't get tricked by a Cade Electric Claw. However, a Hibana pellet is very easy to get tricked. Due to the length of the fuse time of a Thermite charge versus the much longer length of a fuse time of a Hibana charge, those electric claws are very effective against the Hibana. And that's what we've seen in this game so far when CAG were defending that top floor bomb site, using that Cade electric claw to counter that push from the Hibana, destroying the freezer walls. So just interesting analysis use of how these bans are affecting the way that the game gets played.
Indeed, and well, I don't know why we haven't seen Maverick just yet, but I would think that, you know, Maverick at least making a hole or something that would put the Kaid under a lot of pressure to try and make that Electric Claw work.
Yeah, and I mean, it's very site dependent as well, and very setup dependent. We've seen CYCLOPS when they defended Kitchen Cookie and they had that really long angle out looking outside all the way to the front door. They opened up that prep wall and had the Maestro hiding behind the deployable shield. Wonder whether we'll see something similar again. What I will say, though, for CYCLOPS, as this is a round being replayed, if you were watching earlier this kitchen defense for CYCLOPS where Trippy got very close, it was a 1 versus 2 for Shale. That round's getting replayed because, unfortunately, we had some server issues with the local network that we're running on. So here we are moving into this this rehosted match, rehosted round. CYCLOPS, they actually have a really similar lineup of operators.
You have to have the same operator lineup on both attack and defense, the same bomb site, the same everything, really.
Try to emulate being in the same round, right?
Correct.
So
that is in the rules.
In some ways, that can favor the attack because they have an idea of what kind of operators will be on the defense. However, Cyclops do have the opportunity to change away around some of their setup, some of their reinforcements. There's no rule against you reinforcing here versus reinforcing there, putting a castle barricade wherever. So we do see Cyclops making some minor adaptations, some nice placement of the barbed wire to prevent that quick push in through kitchen cooking after the wall gets opened, assuming it does get opened. Both Evil Eyes actually on this front side. So Cyclops team really convinced that Trippy will be pushing from that west side. Another thing I'd like to note is some of the castle barricades around the coat check also had been moved around slightly as well.
Yeah, indeed, and the first time they tried to attack this bomb side, they tried to come in from the freezer side. They just got frozen out. Pun not intended, but JD now, he's going to try and get a long angle. These aggressive roamers that are coming out from CAG, Anitun and Black Ray, they need to be dealt with effectively because, well, Gatarada is here on the second floor as well. Suzu's very far away on site, so actually side presence, it's so very light. It's just up to Shoki and his Evil Eyes. And I'm not sure if Trippy are bold enough to do this, even if they realize it. If they go for the site right away, there are not that many holes looking from the second floor down to the first floor, especially if they go for a non-default plant spot.
Yeah, we don't have those impact grenades on CAG from the Vigil to open up those holes in the floor. We'll have to see how this pans out later in the round. Of course, Trippy are clearing out this middle floor, wary of those angles from above. They spot out the player inside of Train. You do have those impact holes looking below to go for those plant denial onto the floor below. But that is quite a heavy investment from Cyclops up above. And well, Trippy do get this front wall open. It's likely suicide if they try to plant in there. Oh, nice angle spotted by Shale, but he doesn't tap in time. Still 1 minute to go, and they'll have to set up for an execute.
Now, what B is going to be very, very important, as is Templat, and he's now down to 50 HP, and he's going to get zapped a bit less, so that's not going to put him in a very, very good mood, because it's already taking down to less than, you know, about halfway the round, and nothing really been done about the roamers from Trippy. Jump to Juan's now going upstairs. Finally, Templar opens the fragging. That is Suzu going down. The frag's going to go up, and oh, I think it's not done any damage, but there's one more right in front of him inside of mining. That's Gatarada. And Black Ray just goes in. Anitun takes down JD. Do they know? Oh, well, Black Ray's already inside. Gatarada finally turns around, but he can't save his teammate. And it's the final 15 seconds. Black Ray gets one more from above. C4 making holes. And the Evil Eye once again shoot it.
Shoki saves the round with the Evil Eye. Perfect job from CAG to hold that down. As you mentioned, there was no address from the attackers onto that roam. There was the plant denial just was too on point. There wasn't that denial of that of those positions that Trippy needed to force that plant down.
I mean, I'm surprised that they're allowing themselves to get zapped by these Evil Eyes all day. They're not dealing with them with like a switch or a frag grenade or a lifeline. And then when they go on to the bomb site execute, they don't have to see mid-drone. They don't know where the zaps are coming from, and they just ignore it. They try to just plant regardless, and they just get taken down. We've seen it again and again.
Yeah, it makes me wonder, with Trippy, how much of their soft breach utility that would be used to destroy those Evil Eyes. You don't have a Thatcher, so really you're looking at operators like Zofia, Ash, Twitch that can get rid of these Evil Eyes. So how much of that soft breach utility is being utilized on those castle barricades downstairs? Maybe most of that. Maybe that's the problem for Trippy. They're not able to use their Ash charges, their Zofia charges on those Evil Eyes because they were wasting them all on the castle barricade. So part of the strategy perhaps for Cyclops. Nonetheless, we do head over to a library defense for Cyclops. The only round Trippy's won in this map thus far has been an attack onto this very bomb site.
Maybe it's time for them to bring a sledge, perhaps, but if they don't have room for sledge in their attack, number one, it's going to surprise me, and number two, that is going to be a big, big failing strategically for Trippy if they can't bring a sledge.
Some of these Maestro cameras are in positions where it's quite hard to get within melee range, though.
Yeah.
So
no, I mean, you can just, so you use this, for the castle barricades, you use the hammer.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And then you have extra frag grenades as well.
A lot of speculation we can make about that, but of course this is the final round of defense for Cyclops, so we will not be returning back down to that kitchen cooking bomb site where Cyclops will bring in the castle. Instead, we're going here, reading room for the final defense of Cyclops. And look, if we end here 4-2 for Trippy, 4-2, obviously favoring Cyclops, but if Trippy win this round, I actually think that's still a pretty good position for Trippy looking forward into the next half.
Now Suzu just gonna peek on from top of white, and that is the Zofia off the ball. So Jump Suhwan not quite having a good round. He's gonna be relegated to comms duty, camera duty, what have you not. It's very early into the round, and this is looking very, very good for Cyclops. We talked about win percentages when they get the opening kill. Right now, it's standing more than 70% for them. Now Shale is trying to get himself inside and is not quite able to do it too easily.
No.
Wasting a lot of time. Finally gets himself into Cigar Lounge.
Does spot out Maestro's footsteps as well from the prep phase. He might be able to scan some of those, but they'll be fading likely very soon as they are very old footsteps. He'll have to grab him as soon as possible. Guess that one just before it fades, so he has the track onto the Maestro. The Jackal changes you might have heard up coming through to the TTS have not gone live yet, so those Jackal scans will last for quite a long time. Trippy, of course, at a man deficit here. They have some decent positioning, and if Black Ray overextends, he may well get picked out.
Now the thing about that Jackal scan is it's pretty much useless information unless you have someone outside that window on white stairs ready to capitalize, maybe force Showcase into a pinch situation. You know, you have a hammer and an anvil pushing in. But they scan him, they do nothing with that information, and Showcase doesn't even budge.
Holding a really good angle is Showcase on those white stairs. Really unlikely that Shale can win that fight. Reloading to get an extra 6 bullets back into the Alder. All right. Nice. Makes the difference there for you. Cyclops, now it's Trippy getting aggressive here, pushing towards Library. They have to worry about those angles from above. Cyclops, do they have that control above? I'm not quite sure. Trippy needs to try to push in. There are still defenders above that can use that vertical pressure. 25 seconds left. We have to see this from Trippy right now. It's starting to form up here. Black Ray holding fast. He's being tracked, but really, where is the move from Trippy? They have to take the move. They have to start pushing in. A C4 is going to go out. There's no time left. Trippy, what are you doing? It's a 4 versus 5. This is your moment. You have to make it happen. And Gatarada on the flank. He gets one. Where is Trippy? They're not doing anything. Cyclops, this is all for them. Nothing happening for Trippy, but the blank goes down nonetheless. All inside a fireplace. We were so distracted with the Library side, but Trippy is now a 1 versus 3. Make that 1 versus 2. 2 or none now for Cyclops. So close, and that sneaky push into fireplace gets the bomb down, but it's not enough.
Maybe he's prone from white stairs, you know. There's a hole. I
have no clue what just happened. I didn't actually realize he was planting.
I mean, I think you saw that hole at the side. I think Jackal just brought out his sidearm shotgun and it's like, hey, Templar, just be annoyance. Don't die, but be an annoyance.
That's ridiculous. Like, how does that work? How do they get the plant down? And of course, they lost it. Yeah, I mean, it was a 1 versus 2 at the end. That's pretty damn close. Of course, CAG do recover, and now they're looking at a really stark advantage moving into the second half, much closer than what we saw on Consulate, which was, of course, was Cyclops' map pick. That's the one we expected to dominate for the Japanese. Now here, Trippy's map of Cafe. Cyclops are up 5-1. However, they have to switch over to the attacks now.
Yeah, now this is part of the questionable strategies that are listed down in the preparation. Trippy, as I said, if you give them an inch, they'll take a mount, punish you for your mistakes. But the overall strategies that I see from Trippy in general, they do give me some pause, and I'm like, well, what really is the idea behind that? I don't quite... Well, we know what the idea is, but it just doesn't seem to work out. And then you think about, well, could we have done this differently? And you're like, yeah, maybe you didn't have to take such a risk. Because that was a very risky play. These kind of ninja plants, they don't really work out that well.
I love that you mentioned the ninja plant here, because guess who's holding the diffuser right now? It's Showcase on the nuke.
Is he going to forget to press the button?
Come on, he's no Luna Metal. Oh. Cyclops here going for their very first attack. And what we may well see, potentially utilization of smoke to cover. We have smokes on the Capital. The nuke, we've talked about her utilization, her coming into favor in the Pro League. Not in a huge way, but people are definitely experimenting with it. We haven't seen it be dominating by any means, but there are a lot of cheeky tricks that you can do. If the defense are relying so heavily on cameras for information, we've got Maestro cameras and the Mozzie drones potentially that could be gathering that information. Cyclops may well be able to get a cheeky little plant off with the with the Capital cover from the smoke, and then the use of the Nook device to jam out those cameras. I reckon it's going to be a skylight drop.
Oh, if it's a skylight drop, I hope you see something like we saw last season. You know, Hysteric just jumps in, gets a nice kill, and out he goes.
That was great.
That was pretty funny. But let's see what Showcase does. The diffuser is not with anyone. It's on the roof right now. They're biding their time. Now, the thing about Nook is that the camera reduction and the sound reduction, both of these are really essential parts of Rainbow Six Siege. And when you are fighting against Operator who doesn't show up on cams, who doesn't make almost any noise, that really puts you at a big disadvantage. But the thing is, Showcase is just hanging out on the windows right now. So the Nook utility is not really having much of an effect. And Black Ray pushing in, just dropping, he gets JD first off. And that is the Mozzie of the board, so his drones are going to be locked in position wherever they are, if there are any left.
Yeah, as you said, this is a first step for CYCLOPS, just taking control as much as they can. Firstly of Cigar Shop, and now moving into Piano itself. Showcase moves in. Is there any information in there? We're not quite sure at the moment. Templat playing so aggressively, I'm surprised he's not being taken out from above. Even a drop through New Hatch would expose his position very much so. Showcase looks to be repelling to the roof. He could drop New Hatch, he could drop Skylight. We're yet to see where he's pushing yet. Templat moves all the way back. He takes a good shot onto Black Ray. Really nice job with the SMG-11. But surely Templat's exposed now, and he does get taken out by Anitson. Showcase finds one for himself as well. 4 versus 2, and CYCLOPS are in the advantage. Are they going to force this plant down? It's not the Nook with the diffuser, but Showcase goes down. Now a 2 versus 3 for Trippy. Can they hold on just a little bit longer? 30 seconds, and now it's a 1 versus 3. All up to Jamsukwan. He gets one down, but can he secure the next? It's getting too close for comfort here, and Castle has nowhere to go.
Indeed, he's castle of his own rotations. CAG have not opened up the wall over there onto the top of Red Stairs. He's going to finish off his kill. So that's 2 for him in the round, but I think that might just be an exit frag. Suzuki and Anitun, way too practiced, way too good for this. He's crawling his way through. I don't think he has much chance here. The pings are coming out for him. If they keep peeking it, he might have a chance. But time is running out. That is a big component. The defenders have become the attackers, and the attackers hold on, defending the diffuser.
We're on match point, series point for CYCLOPS. We certainly were surprised when map number 1 was as close as it was, but it looks like CYCLOPS have had their warm-up map. They're on to map 2. Cafe, they're absolutely at home, and they're looking to take it in a potentially 7-1 extremely dominant fashion here on match point. A good start to their attacking half.
Indeed, and looks like it might be the end for Trippy. A quick end, the quickest we've had so far. Let's see what they can show us on this, you know, round number 8, but could be the final one. Immediately they switched off bomb sites. Very important. You have no time to experiment, no time to try that same bomb site again, because if you try it again and whatever you thought was wrong wasn't what was wrong, that's it, game's over.
And that was not only a 1 round for CYCLOPS, but a dominantly 1 round for CYCLOPS. They had so many players up at the end of it. Maybe not counting the pick that the Castle got, but I'm impressed so far what we've seen from CYCLOPS here. And look, after map number 1, I was a bit worried for CYCLOPS. I was thinking, look, this team was my favored to win the entire event after Fnatic. And if after that first map Consulate against Trippy, I was getting a little bit worried, man. CYCLOPS, maybe they're not the same CYCLOPS that we saw at the Raleigh qualifier. Maybe they're not the same CYCLOPS who's been dominated the Japanese Pro League. But after that first map to warm up, they've hit their stride. Here taking a serious fight to Trippy, looking to go for a 7-1. I think it's certainly on the cards here, and that'll punch a ticket for them into the semi-finals.
Yeah, indeed, but that map 1, as we were talking about, I think that is going to give Wildcard or Xavier, whoever gets through the next quarterfinal, it's going to give them a fair bit of heart, because they will see that CAG, these guys are very much mortal, no matter the fact that they've been to the Raleigh Major and the fact that they are the favorites of the bottom bracket. Now Templar is getting very punchy over here. He's on the Legion this time around, so not that SMG-11 that is coming out. He makes very nice shots happen with that gun, but right now, not his weapon of choice.
Now the round's just begun for CYCLOPS, and they'll do all kinds of droning. It looks like they intend to actually drone the entire map. Something that's quite difficult to do on Cafe is there are so many rooms, so many floors, such a large map, a lot of places to drone. Usually we'll see teams bring a Jackal. That's what Trippy did. Saves a bit of time on the drone game. But no, CYCLOPS have opted to play a lot more utility operators. I mean, other operators for soft breach primarily for their utility rather than favoring that roam clear utility. And they'll just do that with their drones. So really good start, really efficient time management. That said, we need to see this next step of the round start to be engaged by CYCLOPS. We need to see them start to push up and prepare for that execute, because half the round is now gone. And they don't have a pick yet.
JD's got a really nice angle, jumps to Juan. He's got his C4 prepped and ready. Not too sure if they have the information that is required, because the Twitch is just going to walk by JD. He can't get the angle onto the Twitch. He's trying to get an angle over here, jumps to Juan with the C4, and he's going to place it, and he's going to peek onto the buck and do so much damage, actually. Well, not that much. 25 to 30 HP. Gatarada's making his own holes with his gun. But I think this is a very, very strong round coming out from Trippy so far, because they still have Goo Mines in play. I think there is still a roamer somewhere.
Yeah, we haven't yet seen any kind of real teeth from CYCLOPS. And Trippy still allowed. They're just holding on the bomb site. Now, my question is, where is the execute going to come from CYCLOPS? Because Trippy still have full control of this front bakery.
Yeah, indeed. Now, Black Ray's going to send out one frag grenade. He's taken a lot more damage than he initially did. Templar is back on site, and he's just throwing out Goo Mines, and these Goo Mines are going to be such an annoyance in the final 30 seconds as we count down. And Anitun, though, he's going to start the fragging. Jumps with one, goes down the Bandit who was dealing so much damage. He's going left and right. Anitun's going to get punchy over here onto the Jaeger. I think it is behind the counter. And Templar frags him back. And Jaeger falls. Shiloh off the floor. 15 seconds. CAG can still do this. They have done this before. And one more falls. It's a 4v2. Could we see the final? And this is Gatarada going crazy. JD, he's the last man standing. He's still maybe able to clutch it because the diffuser's not with them.
No way!
No way!
There's no diffuser! They can't get it down! How does he win that?
Just what? Right?
No way, man! CYCLOPS, that was their round! That should have been GG right there.
Well, I mean, I don't know what... How come we're seeing two teams today, both the favorites in their matchups, just forgetting the diffuser?
So, when we got into the later parts of that round, it was still a 5v5. And that's when you typically see those explosive rounds. And we did see that. And honestly, I felt like maybe CAG is a team that's going to actually do really well in that explosive environment, that last 10, 20-second push. And I got to give them credit. They did. They won every single gunfight that they took. And, well, except for like one or two onto that last player. And they still had 2 players left to try to hunt that last player, but they didn't have any time to make that happen. Need to be aware of that diffuser, need to be starting to play for that diffuser, force Trippy to make the move, because CYCLOPS, they were playing catch-up through that whole end of the round. And unfortunately for them, it gives Trippy another notch here at the top of the scoreboard.
Yeah, indeed. They'll be fairly happy with the result of the round, but of course not the way it came about. Clutches are never something you want to be relying on, and they'll be looking at the rest of their setup, thinking what went wrong, and hopefully they're going to get a chance to correct it. Because now they've gone back onto the 3rd floor. This is where they've lost very convincingly just now. And we might just see them lose again. So this one round that they took, perhaps they have got a mental handle on what went wrong, what they could do better. Because that's imperative. If they don't have that, this is over.
There is a huge buffer here for CYCLOPS, so I don't think there's a lot of pressure on them. We need to be looking at Trippy to stay in this, hang on as long as they can. They've already done better than I think a lot of people expected, getting 5 rounds on map 1. But map 2 here has been a bit of an embarrassment, and they need to save face here. Get as many as they can, potentially push us to overtime. Not likely to happen, but I wouldn't count them out yet.
Yeah, definitely. The Asians love to save their face. It's very, very common. But I don't think that's really on the mind right now. They just want as much experience as they can get. Dongwook said that his main expectation that he wants from this LAN is that experience playing against CAG, playing against the other teams in scrims, giving them practice and getting some of their own in as well. A lot more passive this round from Trippy. No one falling early on, so that's important. Diffuser's stuck upstairs, so right now it's not too bad, but hopefully they don't forget it this time, and Nitun is going to be the one tasked with retrieving it.
He's going to start rappelling on down 3 speeds, pretty good for that, but no, okay, he's actually going to open up this castle barricade, go back up again. That's his utility there. He will. Yeah, so they're leaving the diffuser on the roof for now. They don't need it until they start to head down, but of course you don't want to forget the diffuser like they did last round. I like this strategy from Trippy, using castle barricades to hold as much as they can. Now, really, we need to see this grenade open up that castle barricade for Blackray, but that smoke's going to lock him out for quite a while. And now that smoke from the Capitao dissipates, and I don't believe the castle barricade was taken out either, so Trippy's actually sitting pretty right now.
Definitely they are. Now JD, he's can't. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa! That is a double. That is a double. And Shoke and Blackray both getting in on the action. 1 minute left to go. Shale, he's down below Templat. He's gonna make the first mark onto CAG. There's Gatorada going down. And Trippy could still do this, but
oh, hello! Going for another one, Suzu. Surely not. He gets taken down. A knife for Jamsuk1, but he gets taken out by the end of it. A 1 versus 1. Can we ask for anything less? And Instant has the diffuser. Fortunately, he's going to start that plan, or at least bait it out for a little bit. Plenty of ammunition in the magazine to take this fight, but he doesn't have info. He then gets the pre-fire from Shale. Shale hears that diffuser surely starting to be planted, but is it a bait? Yes, it is. Can he spot him? No, he misses it just in time, and Trippy still in the game somehow. Thanks to a 1v1 clutch.
Jamsuk1, the hero of that round, bringing it back from a 3v5. He just comes in, takes down Suzu, knives the other, almost gets a third actually. And, well, the Ash in the end tried her best, but just wasn't enough. Because Shale, he had perfect information. You could see the Ash getting pinged left, right, and center. Wherever she went, they had exact info.
Fortunate for Anison that he just barely missed out on that round, because I feel like it was within his grasp very firmly, but as you mentioned, the defenders had all the information they needed to close out that. Now, CAG going to rotate. They'll have to attack another bomb site as Trippy have successfully defended kitchen and now bar as well on the top floor. Likely we'll see library next up. There you go. This is the only bomb site that Trippy managed to successfully attack in the previous half. Let's see how they go about defending it.
I don't think Trippy are going to have an extraordinarily hard time, because based on these last 2 rounds, yes, it's been very, very tense. It's been very, very tight at the end. It's come down to clutches, really. But overall, the round hasn't been shaping up too poorly at too much of this round, where, you know, too many stages of the round. So initially, yes, they were down 5-3 over in the last one, but then they pulled it back well enough. Then even in that first one, where they're defending on the first floor, initially it looked like Trippy would hang on pretty decently.
Yeah, so now Library taken up next. Trippy on the defense, as we've talked about. They have just barely won the last 2 defensive rounds. Nothing to write home about yet. The Cyclops just missing every single time it matters. Just not making the cut. Now we'll see how they can attempt to attack this one. They've brought the Dokkaebi, so a lot of grenades. In fact, so much soft breach here for Cyclops. A lot of information gathering as well, getting rid of the Jackal that they used previously. I wonder whether they'll hard try to take this top floor or just go straight in for this fireplace push, or potentially library. Looks like they might just go for more of a horizontal take rather than trying to hard take that entire top floor. And Shoke already inside of Train. Blackray is going to join him here. Is there anyone holding on to A? We do have that presence from the white stairs. We need to okay, there you go. They destroyed the Evil Eye camera, so Trippy now a bit short in information. It looks like Cyclops going to go for a quick one here.
JD still has 2 pests in his pocket. I'm not sure where he plans to use those, but that might be one of his drones that he's captured out. So perhaps one of his own drones that he's stolen. Maybe they're going to give the information that he needs, because they are opening this side up in A and trying to play it like a Swiss hold.
Cyclops are definitely keen to go for this execute. You can see they're so primed for it, but Trippy is also read into that perfectly, and they're absolutely poised and ready to receive any kind of push onto that fireplace. Execute. Trippy do lose one player above it. Suzu doing some good work. And they're taking some extra time, but they're getting these picks. They're making Trippy desperate, and CYCLOPS working so well off of it. Now a 4 versus 3 man advantage for the Japanese. Pushing in, they're getting so close to the objective now, and they see the Mozzie, but that's the one for JD. 3 versus 3 now. CYCLOPS have tons of time, but they're getting all the frags. They're forcing the issue here. It's now a 1 versus 3 for poor Watby for the game. So much time for CYCLOPS to play with. Watby may well find the first, but not even that. It's CYCLOPS and your second Japanese team here into the semifinals.
Excellent stuff really on that final round. It really looked for a second that Trippy would hang on and continue on this comeback train. But it was from train that the attack came from CAG and derailed everything that Trippy had planned.
Excellent work from CAG and Dev, as you say, the second Japanese team through to the semi-finals. And I really do wonder, we're going to be echoing some similar thoughts tomorrow when it comes to the grand final. That, of course, is something that we await to see. But I think you have to give credit to Trippy as well. They come into this one as the complete underdogs, absolutely no expectations on them at all. And they almost take Concealed away from CAG there. I mean, a 7-3 is a pretty confident victory in the second map as well from CAG, but I sort of do feel as though Trippy really made them work for that.
100%, especially near the end of it. I'm not sure whether we can credit Trippy in those last 2 rounds for stealing those away, or whether it was CAG slipping a little bit. Trippy definitely deserved that first round that they got. The later 2, it came down to those really close 1v1 clutches. I think that was CAG just tasting victory and needing a little bit extra time to get back to reality and just get the job done.
Even still, for Trippy, it's certainly a solid performance in their first appearance here at an APAC LAN. Now, I think what we can really only hope is that we do get to see them again, because that's been the storyline for the Seed 2 teams coming through from Korea here in the APAC Finals. Historically, they're sort of a one-season wonder. They come in, they don't do too much at the APAC Finals, and then there's no real development in that respect for those individual teams. So, I mean, obviously, we've seen a little bit from them today. And Fian, do you expect that we're going to be able to see a little bit more in the future, or is it the same old, same old?
See, one of the problems with Korean teams and Singaporean teams is the issue of national service. So I think, I'm not too sure on this, but ScarZ, they lost a lot of their players to national service. We even lost the Cloud9 former captain, Oni-chan. Now he's coming back as a head coach after this season. But this national service is such a big thing for the Koreans.
Yeah, it does have a big effect. Obviously, there's a lot of culture things, a lot of national things that make the big difference there. But I got to say, Trippy, they have been on the up, and it's not just in the lead up to this LAN event. It has been over several months now. We talked about their performance in the Korea qualifier for the Raleigh Major. They did really, really well there, so I wouldn't count Trippy out yet. Even since then, they've lost one of their best players with Katsung. So I really want to credit Trippy, and I think that we're going to see more of him in the future.
Yeah, definitely. And looking back towards CAG now as well, because obviously this is their moment. They've managed to make their way through to that semi-final. You'd be looking toward the Japanese region right now to be having quite a bit of joy over there, because they've got 2 of those Japanese teams through. One of the biggest sort of problems for the Japanese region has always traditionally been Fnatic as well. So there is definitely a storyline now. I feel like we're starting to see those pieces of the puzzle fall into place in a world where we might get 2 Japanese teams through to Tokoname.
That would be the final to end all finals if both of them end up there.
Both Japanese teams going to Tokoname, that's the dream for all of those Japanese fans out there, and there are certainly a lot of them. Honestly, I think that both Norengo and CYCLOPS were a bit disappointed, because they would have wanted that Fnatic rematch, and both of them could have gotten it, potentially. CYCLOPS in the grand final, Nora in the semis. So, unfortunately for them, they won't get that revenge story, both of them being knocked out of APAC LAN previous 2 events by that team. So, I don't know. It's, we'll see.
I'm sure it'll be a sweet prize for them regardless, as long as they do actually end up getting through to that grand final. But there are still certainly a lot of questions surrounding that for Nora going up against Aerowolf, and for CAG. I mean, it depends on our next game. Wildcard and Xavier now. It is going to be the Japanese region that is going to be the only region that will have 2 representatives through, unless Xavier is able to get the benefit over for Wildcard. I know we're jumping the gun a little bit here, but we'll talk about that one in just a second after we come back from our interview. CAG, though, let's touch on that again. Just based on the fact of the individuals that we were talking about going into that game, did you really see enough from CAG here to sort of make you think that they can actually be that team that takes first seed out of the APAC Finals? Because I know you guys were sort of touching on that while you were casting, but now we've got those 2 maps. You've got a little bit of data to take a look at.
Yeah, well, thing to note about CAG, despite that we've had that Japanese Pro League season where they didn't drop a map, and here in the APAC Finals so far they can continue. They haven't dropped a map yet. We've seen really good stuff so far from CYCLOPS. I reckon they're continuing that. I totally think they can be competitive in the grand final.
All right, we'll wait and see. And of course, we have to ask CAG much the same questions as well. It's over to Danny Kim on the stage.
Thank you very much, Jordan. I'm here with Showcase from CAG. And obviously, our lovely translator, Jess. Now, of course, I have to ask you, Trippy, a bit of an unknown quantity. Did you expect them to be a bit more of a walkover, or was that first map a bit more of a fight than you'd expected?
でもちろんそのトリピーの皆さんが初めてランに来ましたので、戦い合って期待に合わなかったんですか？どういう気分ですか？
トリッピーに対しては、期待もあった中、自分たちがどう攻めていくかとかどう守っていくかっていうのは、やっぱちょっと未知数だった部分もあったので、ちょっと最初ラウンドが取れなかった部分もあったんですけども、そこをしっかり2マップ目では解消って形で、ちょっと最後ミスがあって取り残してしまったこともあったんですけども、いい形で明日につなげることができました。
So even though it was their first time here at LAN, we did still have expectations of Trippy. We had quite high expectations, and obviously we didn't always know how to go about defending or attacking against them. So there were times where we slipped up and had a bit of trouble and couldn't take rounds, and we were a bit surprised ourselves, but still they did very well, and we did better in the end.
That's absolutely fantastic. Now, looking more inwards to CYCLOPS, there has definitely been an ascension to dominate Japan and obviously come here as one of the favorites. What has been is there a secret, or is there something that's changed in your sort of work and training?
前より結構強くなったと気づきましたので、その強さにどういうことをしてきましたか？何か変更がありましたか？
取り組み方自体は変えたんですけども、やっぱり世界大会でラウンドは取れなかったんですけど、全然 G2 やローグと実際戦うことができて、やっぱ体で受け止めるやっぱ経験っていうものをうまく取り入れて、自分たちの戦術や作戦なり全部全てにおいて変化をもたらしたことが一番でかいですね。
So we've tried a couple of different things, obviously changing up the kind of, I guess, how we do things and how we go about our training and things like that as well. So it's helped that we've had more experience behind our backs, obviously going to different events and just taking all of that into account, making sure to study up and make sure that we're doing all sorts of different things to get better and better.
Well, it's definitely garnered some results, and of course you have come in, I mentioned, as one of, if not the favorite to take the top seed. Are you feeling any pressure or weight of expectations from that?
結構ファンの皆さんが多くて、好きなチームでいますので、そのプレッシャーは感じてますか？
今回日本一野良連合を差し置いての日本一で出て、やっぱ周りからの期待もあり、海外の名前を少しは知ってくれているファンからもやっぱプレッシャーっていうものを多少は感じたんですけども、やっぱり自分たちの環境で落ち着いてやることができたんで、みんなあんな感じにゆったりしてますけども、多少なりともプレッシャーをいい意味で感じつつやってると思います。
So obviously standing up here with teams, big teams from Japan like Norengo, I'm glad that obviously we can start to kind of make a name for ourselves, and obviously we're very happy that there are lots of fans, and we are starting to feel a bit of pressure, but it's in a good way, and we're using that pressure to forward ourselves.
All right, well, congratulations to making it through the semi-final showcase. Thank you for your time. Jess, always a pleasure. Man, I think I need to learn some Japanese. It's back to you, Jordan.
Danny, I'm sure there's a lot of things that you need to learn, but Japanese might not be on the priority list there. Anyway, let's talk a little bit more about that last game, CAG and Trippy. Obviously pretty straightforward in the end for CAG. They get the 2-0. Now, actually, I said I want to talk about a little bit about that last game. I actually want to sort of look a little bit forward and maybe even a little bit further back in the past here as well for CAG. Let's imagine a world where Wildcard gets through here. Up against Xavier, which, I don't know, do you guys agree? Is that maybe more likely or less likely to be the case?
That's a whole discussion,
Yeah.
man. Do you want me to get into that just yet?
Let's entertain me for a moment. Let's just say that Wildcard do get through here.
Fair?
CAG, in the Rally qualifiers, did play against Wildcard, correct?
Yes.
And?
2-1 to CYCLOPS.
So
So what you're telling me is that there's a potential for a rematch there, and even a potential for CYCLOPS to a rematch Aerowolf in the grand final.
Yeah.
Yeah, but one caveat is Wildcard had no prep on CAG, and they played CAG just a few hours after, well, not even a few hours, a few minutes after they won their first game against Cloud9. So this time around, Alex was telling me, we have prepped.
Yeah, that is such a big deal. I will re-emphasize that. In the LAN, it was C9 and Aerowolf and CYCLOPS who Wildcard could potentially have played, and they researched 2 out of 3 of those teams. CYCLOPS was not one of them.
Okay, well that definitely tells its own story. I want you guys to tell me the story though of Xavier and Wildcard. I know you're not going to be on the desk for this next game, so let's just get your quick thoughts before we do go to a break. How do you see this one panning out?
Another amazing rematch opportunity. Last time these guys played, it was overtime on the final map, and Xavier took it, but Wildcard have made some huge strides. They're finally August, no longer here, and they're ready to make an impact. I think we'll see the ANZ team through to the semis.
Definitely, I think it's a very good chance because last time they were on the precipice of victory and just a bad call kind of took that away from them. And this time they've got the org, they've got a bootcamp support. Xavier Esports, I'm not sure if they made the necessary strides to beat Wildcard again.
Oh, well, that's fairly damning evidence, I think, from both Dev and Infian. But we have plenty more opinions that we do have to ask. Manic and Raven will be back after this one with our next game. See you soon.